Hi, I'm John Boucher, the Wizard of Reuse, and this episode is about off-the-grid IT. Essentially, this is an urban apartment in DFW, and I don't live here anymore, but I was here for 2 years working on my own zero waste family unit. I have 3 children and just kind of need to be producing healthy food and make sure we have the basics, which are essentially food and water and shelter and power and security. And so this is about security as far as the power actually went down in this complex this year, and have now installed, thanks to Greenox Energy, a solar module with a converter and a battery. It runs the garden out back, the aquaponics, but it can also connect to this LED television, which has a very low power consumption. And below it, as you can see here, this is an old computer that one of my clients thought was done, and essentially what I recommend is Ubuntu 64-bit if you have a newer computer, 32-bit on the older. Basically, you just go to ubuntu.com and you download make a disk, a boot up disk, then you change the boot up from your boot menu, which will be like F something or another. Just look it up for your computer, and make sure you say boot from disk on the boot menu, and then install the free open source Ubuntu disk. And basically, it's taken many years. It runs on Linux, which is a third alternative to Apple or PC, which some say are compromised. Pet tiger is attacking my hand. This is prismbreak.org, and it'll let you select Android, Apple, whatever you have. In this case, we installed Linux, which is what I recommend. And it goes through everything from browsers to DNS to email accounts. It says what is proprietary software, which means you can have hidden code and things hidden in there that we don't really want in our house, like just people accessing cameras and just all kinds of stuff that invades our privacy. And so, being a Boy Scout and former military, I think about communications and security and privacy. And so this is my system where I've arrived, which is basically I think you can see it out there, but basically I gotta see that converter and the DC converter and the or controller and inverter, and there's a little solar panel above it. So basically, if I need to access email in a way that has more security and a little more privacy, then go to prismbreak.org, find out what the best recommendations are for your operating system, and I recommend Linux. And for a browser, for instance, you don't want to use Chrome or Explorer. You want to use Firefox because it's open source, just like Linux. Basically, you have all these hackers and programmers around the world that work together to create open source technology for the people, by the people. It's free, and it's more secure, and usually doesn't have viruses, because viruses can't really hide in an open source code very well. So, and then making sure that if the power goes down, I can still power my communications. And it might not even be the existing web. It might be Hyperborea is an alternative web that's building. There's some awesome things. Lots of people are building new networks. FireChat is a good app. Open Garden owns it, and it's basically how do you create a decentralized network or meshwork that can run in an emergency or just in general, and making sure it's kind of off the grid a little bit, because you don't want to be relying on other power utilities if you don't have to. So just wanted to show you this. Another pretty cool system besides Ubuntu that I would recommend is Tails. Let's see here. And Tails is like you just take a disk and on any computer just plug it in and it runs a whole cryptographic, email and access to the web, and it's a rabbit hole, but bottom line is prism-break.org is a good place to start, and then Linux is a good way to take an old computer box and reuse it, which is my forte, and turn it into a new cryptographic command and control center for your household in good times or in bad times. So good news is, to get off the grid, it's it takes less resources than to get on the grid, dang near. You just need a little you need to bust out of the box a little bit, and hopefully this helps you to see how I can power an LED system, LED TV and computer from a solar module, and what technology I would be using for that communication, for my communication needs. Alright, so if you have any questions, send me a line. I'm getting my act together as far as starting to really publish and put stuff out there that I've learned over many years of designing zero waste systems that create a yield. So have an awesome day. God bless.